Then, at that moment, hey guys, welcome back to Higurashi no Nakukura Chapter 1 Onikakushi. This is TJ, your gamer girl, signing on. So, in the last episode, we actually came to the end of Chapter 1 of Chapter 1. And it was actually quite a surprise to me, because I didn't know this game was separated into chapters. So, I had to clear something up. And, yeah. I'm able to do the entire game. So I'm able to continue, thankfully. So let's do so, shall we? I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. It was totally late. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Rena and Mion were already waiting for me at the meeting place. Kei-chan, you're late! Sorry. The show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame that! Oh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting. Mi-chan, you just got here yourself. Last night's episode of A Day in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? So she was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Probably your lunch. Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Rena really did make a picnic. It's so interesting how quickly they recover from being physically assaulted by this little girl. Kei-chan, after you left, Rena pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing, so don't worry, okay? She's been like this since last night, you know. Can you take responsibility for this? Alright. I am a man after all. I'll take responsibility. I mean, it does look like, throughout this entire thing, it did look like, Rena had feelings for Keiichi, so. Huh? Responsibility? For what? For what? As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards towards the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this is Rena we're talking about here. Yes, the girl that would beat the living crap out of people very easily, especially a man who is technically bigger and possibly weighs more than her. About 2 kilos, I guess? When Rena was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I'd say 5. You're exaggerating. Keiji-kun is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going. Heave ho! Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe those things were the only things in there were lunchboxes. Correction. I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. I won't forgive you if you make Rena sad. Got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk, bathed in the gentle morning of the sunlight. In the gentle morning sunlight. I don't know why I put that the way I did. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies, after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out there. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. Except for the cicadas. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. Ah, good day. Good day. Oh, you'd be my Banner-kun, I believe. My 2 companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passerby even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid. It's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there's so few people here in Hinamizawa. So that means... Sorry about that. So that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume it's that Maibara fellow who just moved here? Yeah, that's how it works out. It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this. But it was quite effective. From now on, I better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. Okay. Sure. Would a village like this even have dirty magazines? I don't know if they really get that kind of stuff. That's not the end of this nightmare. Of course I know them. The first person we met was Old Man Takuzo from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute. Next we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse in the clinic. Her hobbies are bird watching and photography. You know the names of everyone we passed by. And even their profiles? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah. We're not like the city, where people hardly know their neighbors. Then let's try it out. You there, who am I? You're Keiichi Maibara. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. Lately you switched over to wearing boxers. Didn't you? That's enough! That's enough! Boxers? Enough of that! Apparently there is absolutely nothing you could keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. That or these people are stalking you. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around. That's right. We're parading around like this after all. Don't you all think so too? That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in Hinamizawa. The population in Hinamizawa is shrinking. So the villagers welcome anybody who's new here. I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of "you're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke after all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again in the same manner. Oh my, good day. It's wonderful seeing you getting along. This lady here is Fujishima-san. Good day. Oh my Barakun, how wonderful for you having a lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to life here? Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Good. As I looked over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink. So, now then, about time to have lunch. Maybe? Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man, I'll do what I can. But it's just too much. It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave this to the old man. Leave it to this old man. Mion never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. Rena, if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with good view. Yes! Good idea, I agree. Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Hey, a shrine! Cresting at the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. This here is the Furude Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place. Be sure to remember it. On your next break, a festival will be held here. Isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watakanashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. Watakanashi. Watanagashi. Why did I say Watakanashi? I switched the G and the N around. Watanagashi. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunch boxes, and there. Various colored lunch boxes were placed one after another on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It is Zena's home cooking. Went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all this? Hey, Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know? Good afternoon. It is Ika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was our secret plan, to power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We just had to come here since there was such commotion. What is the meaning of this? Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Rena. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property? The temple is public grounds, it's not yours. Keiichi's right. This is everyone's property. Wow, Rika-chan is such a good girl. Oh man. This is kind of like word for word on how the anime said it. Even in the dub. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Where's my spot? No spot for you and nothing for you to eat. Don't worry. There's some for you too. None. I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika! Here. Chopsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really. Kei-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate. One for me-chan and Rika-chan too. Rena whipped out a pair of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right, okay. Shall we commence this battle? Please, eat a lot. There's enough for everyone. Rena said as she opened up the thermos. Just then, I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger! Using your elbow against the rules, Satoko. Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules! It was a tough battle, blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves. Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks has proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. Good lord! The last meatball! Satoko Hojo has been defeated! Ow. Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Oh, this is what happens when you eat too fast, guys. Don't do this. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. Oh man, these two. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Especially since we weren't choking on goddamn meatballs because we were eating too fast, because we had a competition on who could eat the most. Seriously. Seriously, don't do it. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble and a lot of heart attacks. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? It seems that long ago people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then the people were busy even while eating and didn't have the time to complement the flavor. That's just you. But, you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. With absolutely perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. After Rena uttered an intelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof. Oh, Rika-chan, I'm going to take you home. No, I mean, thank you. It was really delicious. Rena flushed with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you could almost hear it. To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What is this, Satoko? What's with that defiant look? Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think of with your weak vocab? Ha ha ha. Well then, allow me to show you. After Satoko flashed me on and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Onichan's lunch. Satoko thought it was yummy too. Satoko looked up at her potly, I don't know to while talking cutesy. What? How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears. That's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Rena limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Of course, I was asking for the impossible. Rena glumped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Cute! Satoko is so cute! Take you home, huh? Swish! Stab! Push! Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It only took 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair, to think she had such a trick. If it upsets you so much, why not reward Rena-san with some praise? Damn it! That was a dirty trick! First of all, that wasn't even praise! Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion! What kind of trick is it? Kei-chan is going to be the one who does it. What? Oh, why don't I have you show me then? The writhing of an old maid. How old are you again? Like, seriously? You're young! The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking, very naturally and calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, almost all of it was frozen stuff. Then which ones did you make fresh? Well, it's embarrassing. Do I really have to say? Must I? From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Rena turned an even deeper shade of red, the words "I can't believe it" practically written on her face. How can you tell? How? I made it! Of course Miana told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, frozen solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Rena's handmade apple rabbits or something. Even if this is all because I was competing against Satoko, I felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, whoosh, it was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. Instantly, dozens of apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. Yeah, she's definitely got a thing for you. Oh, okay. Say, Keiichi-kun. My hand was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing one after another, I was forced into my mouth more and more apples. Translated as, how about them apples? Let's go, looks like we win. While you're suffering. Kei-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it. Such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it! I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something. Rika-chan, you're not eating it. Did the salt water make it too strong? Maybe? Looking over, Rika-chan pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel sorry for him. I want to save him. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Uh-oh, nosebleed! Tonight, I will take you home. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all of the apples around me, gathered them up with a foot, and fixed them back onto a plate. Well, they're all just fine, okay? Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan. Okay? Rika-chan raised up Satoko's hand like a referee. After having that plate of rabbits shoved to her, she whispered, "This is our victory." What? A comeback? I just don't care anymore. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. Oy vey. Oh boy. Oh, that was one hell of a thing. I'm going to save it for next episode though. Till then, this is the Gamer Girl signing off. Bye bye.